Chairman, what happened in Amsterdam last week is, of course, completely unacceptable. Individuals were hunted down because of their origin or ethnicity. Hotel receptionists informed gangs about which rooms Israelis were in. Groups of taxi drivers and street thugs have assaulted and intimidated people. In Amsterdam West, a tram was set on fire. The police were attacked, and unsuspecting passers-by were pulled off their bikes, only to be beaten up. Terrible and unacceptable. Throughout Europe, we have seen this kind of riots in recent decades. In the French suburbs, in the outskirts of London, Birmingham, in Germany, Spain, it is rampant. Everywhere. Mass immigration has had dramatic effects on our safety and freedom. And why was there so little police on the streets? How could all of this happen in Amsterdam? Why have many perpetrators not been arrested yet? And is there now also a plan to not only punish the perpetrators, but also to recover the economic damage from those who have destroyed others' property? Or will that be passed on to all of us through taxes across the Netherlands? Let hooligans and street thugs pay for the damage they have caused themselves. That is our proposal. And of course, we have also seen the militant and aggressive Maccabi, supporters who misbehaved. We also need to address those, but in most cases they have returned to their own country, while the mainly North African rioters remain here and will strike again next time. Because this incident, Chairman, is of course not an isolated one. Hans Janmaat and Frits Bolkestein have already talked about it. Pim Fortuyn talked about it. Geert Wilders and I talk about it. The daily reality in the multicultural society. This should not be a social taboo in 2024 anymore. Indeed, as Elsevier columnist Martin Gekebracht wrote, all of Amsterdam knows who they are. I continue the quote. They are very easy to recognize, and sometimes they swarm everywhere. They usually weave their way through traffic unhindered, separate from everything. Riding harder than a car, sitting with two on a scooter, or a fat bike, who cares? If you confront them because they have run someone over on a crosswalk, you are not sure for your life, and you turn out to be a cancer whore. They hang around in playgrounds where they terrorize the place. Every summer they live up to their bad reputation in the pool. On the street, you see them increasingly dealing from their scooters. They are the boys who as children hung around aimlessly in squares until late at night. If you have the courage to confront such a boy, you must take into account that they are capable of multiplying on the spot, and then you turn out to be a cancer whore in unison. Those boys, I hear girls tell, how they are looked at and groped by them when they are out and about, still getting hit by them. All of Amsterdam knows these boys, not from yesterday, not from Thursday evening, November 7th. For years, they weren't suddenly there because of the police shortage that one evening, not because of a misjudgment by the mayor. They are the product of years of looking away and ignoring. It is true, unfortunately, and both at the municipal and national level, a real action plan is now needed to tackle criminal street thugs. To address those, very often with a migration background, to reduce the enormous insecurity, the riots, the learning delays, the overloads, the concerns, the phone calls, on the train with your phone on speaker, just antisocial behavior. And look at opsporing Verzocht for a profile sketch. Import the third world, become the third world. 20 years ago, it was already 5 to 12. As Fortuyn rightly said, it is now 12:15. So, Chairman, there are now basically two options. Symptom treatment first, in the form of various new hate speech legislation. More control, more restriction of freedom of speech. Giving institutions like the NCTV of Dick Schoof even more power to spy on us all and keep us under surveillance. That will probably be used mainly against political dissidents like me, as they did during the Corona period, and not against rioting street thugs, because nothing is being done against them with the current investigative resources. Indeed, we saw it yesterday when a motion was passed for a national ban on face-covering clothing. While you can already prohibit face covering with the current legislation if there is a real threat of violence, so that new regulation is unnecessary and only has to effectively restrict people's freedom. And we know that the police use facial recognition software to identify, for example, Corona demonstrators, to prosecute, investigate, and obstruct them. So you will probably see all of that more. That is what I fear. Symptom treatment in the form of more camera surveillance, more powers for the police, more subsidies, by the way, more discussion groups. And what unfortunately will not happen is an insight into the deep demographic issues that we have imported through decades of open borders, an issue that can only be solved by a complete migration stop combined with a repatriation program. Chairman, I still believe that mass immigration is the biggest mistake in the history of our country, a mistake that must be corrected. But I fear that conclusion, the only one you can truly draw from this, will not be drawn, and that we will only get more control and less freedom for all of us, especially for people in the Netherlands who want to criticize the current power with the best intentions, and that nothing or almost nothing will be done about the real causes of this problem. Thank you.